That's funny.
So let's talk about
prayer.
This beautiful prayer, Terry.
Yeah.
It goes like this.
Okay.
Jesus, I surrender myself to you. Take care of everything.
I love it.
This powerful prayer is taken from the Surrender Novena, which I learned there was such a thing called the Surrender Novena. And I was delighted. Somehow living the Christian life always comes back to resisting the first sin, the temptation to think God is not really trustworthy. And the author of this article says, when my adult sons shared this novena with me, I hoped it would help me develop greater confidence in God. On the other hand, as I began to pray the novena, I became conflicted about what it means to leave everything up to God. I mean, God requires us to act, not to sit on the couch of life, telling him to take care of it. And love compels us to be deeply invested in God's plan for salvation, for our own growth and holiness, and in the well-being of our family and the world. How can we be invested and still surrender in the radical way the novena invites us to? But the Surrender Novena, and especially the short prayer of surrender to Jesus, which the suppliant repeats 10 times consecutively, has genuinely helped me, an ardent and awkward disciple of Christ, to find peace as I try to serve God and to do his will. Again, the prayer goes, Jesus, I surrender myself to you.
Amen.
Take care of everything.
Beautiful.
Terry, you want to pick it up from there?
Yes, this prayer has the power to reorient us when we become overwhelmed. Oh, really? It can heighten our awareness to the fact that when something is too much to handle, causing anxiety and restless spirit, this is the moment we must stop everything, the worry, the shimmering, the imagination, and let it go. Instead of getting sidetracked or paralyzed by our agitation and fear, and surrendering to him allows us to have the serenity and freedom to do whatever the Lord is asking us to do at any given moment. Think about this. Jesus, I give it all to you, right? Your will is what I'm here for. If you want me to suffer for something I'm doing, and I embrace that. And one of the reflections on the Surrender Novena uses a child's relationship with his mother as an analogy. Go ahead, Jess.
To lose confidence in God and become anxious is like the confusion that children feel when they ask their mother to see their needs and then try to take care of those needs for themselves so that their childlike efforts get in their mother's way. Surrender means to placidly close the eyes of the soul, to turn away from thoughts of tribulation, and to put yourself in my care so that only I act, saying, you take care of it. Terry, it reminds me of kind of a prayer that I was told that Saint John the 23rd used to pray when people used to bring him all kinds of problems and say, Holy Father, this is happening in the world. That's happened. The Vietnam War. This is happening. Sexual revolution. And he would just say, okay. He says, I'm going to bed now. He says, Lord, this is your world. Something like that.
Yeah,
Lord, you take care of it.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep.
Go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep. You take care of it.
The book is called his memoirs, A Journey of the Soul, that he wrote. And that is so beautiful, Jesse, because you and I are high active people. We need that surrender to Jesus, because if we didn't have that, we would be so antsy and so irritated by everything. How do we have confidence? Because we know at the end we win. So, hey, it's in Jesus' hands. I want to wake up every day, start with the sign of the cross, right? Make your morning offering and give it all to Jesus. I want to do your will. He lets what we call permissive will of God. He lets a lot of things happen to us that are tough. But you know what? You give it all to Jesus. That's what Jesse's been saying for decades, and leave the rest. I mean, I've seen Christians in concentration camps like St. Maximilian Kolbe. He taught the guys how to pray and sing songs while he was starving to death. If that's not living in the presence of God, I don't know what is. Continue.
Jesus clearly had work for his apostles to do, but their trust in his ability to accomplish his work through them would be the key to their otherworldly peace.
Yeah.
I can imagine the apostles saying multiple times each day as they carried on the work that Jesus had entrusted to them, Jesus, I surrender myself to you. Take care of everything.
Wow. See, Jesse, so many people call me, what are we going to do about the election? What are we going to do about the third world war is ready to start? All of that can happen. And if the bottom line is you're living a God-centered life in the state of grace, then everything is great because we live to die in that state of grace. We live for Jesus Christ. And this is who he is. This is why he died on the cross, to open up the gates of heaven for us. Individually, he would have done it for us. If we really believe that, Jesse, and this is what the world has a hard time doing because we live in a secular world that leaves God out of the equation. Let's bring God back, as the Pope said, Pope Leo XV, and everything will be back. We need to get back to a God-centered life. And when we have God, we have everything.
Yeah, and as your coach in football, baseball, basketball would tell you, make sure that before you die, you leave it all out on the field.
That's a good point.
Absolutely. And remember, we serve the Virgin Most Powerful, which is the name of this apostolate here. She's a 12-star general. As Father Karapi said, she wears some serious combat boots. So pray the Holy Rosary every single day.
That's right.
Read the Holy Bible every single day. Live in a state of grace. Don't live in a state of mortal sin. Remember, go to Mass as often as possible. And remember, go to confession at least once a month, as Cardinal Burke says, as Father Ripperger says, as Pope John Paul II says, as Archbishop Fulton Sheen says, all the giants. And let's unite our prayers to the sword of St. Michael and continue to deliver powerful blows to the kingdom of darkness. Amen.